Okay, so gratitude to Babaji, and we are going to start from where we left off yesterday. They find solace in the belief of a savior referred to as God, Paramatma, deity, avatar, or Messiah. Such narratives often imply that only followers of a certain faith will be saved, while others are doomed. But where does this lead us? What does such thinking achieve? In my view, both state and religion are at a loss when it comes to education. Religious institutions lack a universal foundation for dharma, devoid of education and evidence. So, where does dharma stand? So, in this lines, we are seeing that how even the government is also failing because it does not know, and we are looking at messiahs or paramatmas or deities as a belief of a savior, and we are also lost in that process because it is not evidenced with the education or any sort of devoid of education and evidence, right? So that is where we are right now. Similarly, in all the seats of state, there is no concept of state which we could call universal. They proclaim the need to work towards saving the state, but how will they struggle? They say struggle is in revolt. Struggle is all about revolt, rebellion, exploitation, and war. This two sentences cannot be more profoundly applicable towards today's day and age. We can see how war situations are being proclaimed and given off as solution in times of tension. So we can see that here it is offering, the state is offering the solution as a war, that we have to struggle, and that ultimately we have to do a war with the like the entities rather which are not universal. So this is the problem. The main basic problem is that there is no definition of what is universal when it comes to human beings. Who prepares these four, nature or humans? Upon examination, it becomes clear that humans driven by delusion are the ones who perpetrate all this. This is actually, I'm just going to highlight this because this is very important. Rather, this is the reason that all the humans driven by delusion is the cause of all the misery that we are going to see or we are seeing if the war or anything like a small war even happens, a battle or whatever. So this is going to be the reason, the delusion in the humans, right? The two most dominant seats of power, religion and state, weld all their resources. It's wield all the resources and authority, yet they fail to provide solutions for the human condition. It's futile to seek answers from the profit driven seat of commerce, which is inherently exploitative. Again, uh, we are trying to look for answers in a profit driven, inherently exploitative system. Right? The reason I have highlighted is because that we need to see where the solution cannot come from the system which we have, right? I'm just turning off my video because we have an unstable connection. Similarly, when questioned, the seat of education falls short in offering clear guidance or purpose. So, what is the common person to do? Again, what the education system is again is not guiding the humanity towards resolution, and it's just giving the, maybe the maximum it's doing is giving a position for achieving wealth or achieving some sort of pad, and that's the most it can do right now. So what is a common person to do? No, direction. The correct path forward lies in discovering or forging a new way. So again, this is worth highlighting. The courageous part is not to continue with one way, but to forge a new way. The word forging itself is a very profound word because it means that we have to forge something, almost like create something out of heat, giving a shape to something by giving it heat first, and then it's like smelting, smelting and giving forging. It usually applies to ironworks. So forging a new way. This path embodies understanding, honesty, responsibility, and participation. Right? I think the rest of the book is almost going to be highlighted all the way through. So we have to be honest, we have to be responsible, and we have to be participating. Right? This is what the path will require of us. The path of conflict leads nowhere. Uh, Humans cannot fulfill their needs through conflict, yet it remains ingrained in our tradition. What is ingrained in our tradition? Conflict, right? The path of conflict cannot lead nowhere. Humans cannot fulfill the needs through conflict, yet it remains ingrained in our tradition. Isn't this also a significant delusion? Now, the only sensible course of action is that we become wise. Understanding is verified within oneself through acceptance and the study of developed consciousness. So, I think this is also worth keeping in mind. Understanding is verified within, sorry, understanding is verified within oneself through acceptance and the study of developed consciousness. So here we are saying that the study being the adhyan and developed consciousness means Babaji's, uh, how can we say it, the way Babaji lived, developed consciousness, studying his work and his words, and how he lived. That is what we need to do, right? So that is going to be very uh, as oneself through acceptance and study of developed consciousness. Understanding is verified, right? So if we have understood, it's going to be verified with the study that we have done of this darshan, right? You cannot attain understanding by examining me. You will become wise only when you examine yourself. Okay, so what I think this means is that if we just keep on reading his book, we will just become, how do we call it, parroting the things. And the true nature of this darshan is to see ourselves within the darshan. So that is how we are going to actually see it, that it is applicable to us also, and hence we will be also uh, part of the solution rather than to be a parrot of the solution. So it's very important that we don't just become the parrots and try to become advertisement boards of something ourselves. So that's very important also. For 30 years of my life, I kept examining others fruitlessly, finding no trace of understanding. I found understanding only when I examined myself after my sadhana of 45 years. I aim to share the fruits of this journey with humanity in a format conducive to study. This is an endeavor in this course. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. It's about examining the self, right? By now, it must have come communicated to you. Coexistence is living in coexistence. Ultimate dharma. If this becomes clear, then all understanding requires with, right? It's according to me, a lie is more difficult. Truthfully living is simpler. I have seen it by living. Living was so difficult when I was surrounded with questions. When I found the resolution, I became free from all questions and life became simple. If this resonates with you as well, It will only strengthen my conviction. Those who are with me have experienced it. If you desire the same, you too can verify it. The verification of this relation with our behavior is behavior. Our behavior is according to justice. So in the first place, we have to also know what is the justice, and that means we have to know all the orders and how they are intrinsically into coexistence. And then again, we see ourselves as part of that coexistence, and that's how we are going to understand. How have we understood relationships, and are we able to fulfill them? Are we able to elevate the inherent values in relationships? Are we able to reach the point of mutual satisfaction or not? These are the aspects of verification. As we embark on this journey of verification, we realize that there is no certainty in the perspectives of pleasure, health, and profit. That which I find pleasant may not be pleasant to you. That which I feel healthy may not feel healthy to you. The level of profit that satisfy you may not suffice for me. All humans are ensnared in this trap. Therefore, equality cannot be based on the perspectives of pleasure, health, and profit. So again, I mean, commerce, economics, all these so-called orders of the world are actually just driven by pleasure, health, and profit, which are completely aloof person to person, and we will just be like sort of staying in a trap where we are assuming things, and assuming it in the sense this might be pleasurable to you, healthy for you, profitable to you, and that also again creates a sort of entrapment. Everybody is in a trap, sort of, and everybody is also almost exploiting not only themselves and with others, but also the environment. So that is also happening, and we can see that in our today's reality, right? To break free from this trap, we need to replace the three perspectives of deliberation, pleasure, health, and profit, with the three alternative perspectives, justice, dharma, and truth. As we begin deliberating from the perspective of justice, it is called contemplation. Justice is comprehended only upon recognizing relationships within the framework of little bit clear of what is relationship. This is worth keeping in mind. So yeah, just take that also. So basically, that is what justice implies. I'm sure it's also going to be more elaborative as we go and keep on reading. But justice is basically recognizing the relationships within the framework of orderliness. As relationships are recognized, fulfillment of values commences. So this again is linked with the recognition of relationships also commences the values, or the fulfillment of values, culminating in evaluation and mutual satisfaction. That is what justice entails, satisfying both sides in a balanced manner. It cannot be deemed just if both sides are not content. Someone once asked me what should be done with those who commit crimes or wrongs. They do so because we fail to guide them towards wisdom. So again, um, person does a crime, or group of people do some crime because they feel that they are uh, doing the right thing. So anybody on this planet actually does something knowing that that is okay or that is right. Maybe it might be in the disguise of, if the government is also doing it, let us, what's wrong with us doing it? But ultimately, ये प्रिय हित लाभ, what is there, basis of it is just these three faculties that are governing them. What is profitable to me, what is pleasurable, what is healthy, right? So of course, in the delusional state, knowing that the body is the central pivotal thing, they do everything for the body centric nature and not with the holistic or the way of seeing the whole of existence. They just do it for the sake of themselves. I actually liked this a definition of punya and pap in the sense of Babaji's darshan. I mean, I'm sure that there is no place for punya and pap, but we can say that punya is when we think of doing an action which is revered for the whole of humanity, and where we can assume that pap is when we do something which is centric to our body only, or rather maybe maximum our relatives or relations. So pap can be, I mean, no place of it as such. We cannot say that it is a somebody is writing the books up there and these things are happening. But it was a very good way of looking at it in a new light. What exactly is punya and pap, right? So yeah. Someone asked me what should we do because we fail to guide them towards wisdom. Why do you focus on criminals and not on those who are righteous? See, now this is a very, very profound statement. I keep on also falling at this place because sometimes we look at the world, then the way that it's going on, and we say that this should have happened, or why can't we do this, or why can't we do that? This is actually just focusing on what is wrong and finding the solution what's wrong. Nothing can go out. In Africa, provided by a very applicable point. Dirty waters cannot be washed. This can use and try to wash the water. Right? That's very. We cannot say that we will the vision or righteousness in the place of beginning or the starting being the wrong or the delusion, right? We cannot find a solution in the delusional state. The whole system has to be sort of refreshed, and the question then comes, is the transition phase. The transition phase, I think, would be just working on yourself, on ourselves rather, and finding a resolution and finding a balance within ourselves. And slowly, slowly, as we do that, we will be surrounded by sort of similar people, similar mindsets, also who are doing their adhyan also. So that is, I think, how we go about it. I don't we can actually um, fix something by making something like dirty waters, as it said, cannot be washed. So we cannot say that we will fix this according to darshan. That's not going to happen. Some of the systems really need to just collapse. And that's what I'm seeing. And it does. It happens. Some of the thought processes also in our head we can see and we can vouch for it. What happens is that we literally stop thinking in some ways and we think of it holistically. I will give you an example. Just a year ago, I had never thought of this, but in this year, just before the monsoons, I am thinking of making a pond, my ancestral land, farmland, and that is basically sacrificing on land which we can grow crops or whatever. So this becomes in the mind when we are thinking of justice and what should happen in the form of keeping the of four orders in mind. So the fact that the crops need water, so for that you need to have a water reservoir. If you don't have it around you, you need to make it for yourself in your place, right? So that's how we start thinking. So basically, the wrong things will fall off. The right actions and the right permutations of the same will then flower from that knowledge that we are gathering right now. And that's, I think, how it will be move forward. I'll just read this again. Why do we focus on criminals and not on those who are righteous? For instance, I don't commit any crimes or wrongs. And like many others, like me, I've seen from criminals and we don't have any problem with them. How can you ignore this reality? It serves as evidence for you to consider. Now, the crucial question arises, do you have a need for the understanding or not? From my perspective, you need this understanding above all else. All humans eagerly awaiting this understanding alone. The only difference between you and me is that I took a first step out of my anguish, attained this knowledge, attained this understanding, and have become capable of attesting to it. You too will bear witness in the same manner once you grasp the immense happiness and satisfaction that comes from living in accordance with justice. So, again, this is the point that we can say it is as simple as witnessing by what Babaji has said in accordance with justice, right? It is not solely for my testimony. You can also testify. All humans will become capable of testifying in the same way once they understand. Um, I believe everything is understandable. If anybody has a question, they can just me in the middle. Would we discuss right now, or let me just continue? Maybe finish one paragraph, and then we can have a small discussion. I don't think anybody has any questions. Just keep on reading then. The understanding will be disseminated through educational institutions. So this comes the solution. This is worth of keeping. An educational institution is a collective expression of all parents and guardians. Education is the activity of evidencing the understanding upon enlightenment. So the education is the activity of evidencing the understanding upon enlightenment. So first, Babaji is saying that it will come through education, and the understanding will be let me just highlight this. The understanding will be disseminated through educational institutions. So again, um, we are talking about the current educational systems, but those are the ones which will also be in line with orderliness or coexistence, uh, coexistence education. And that education itself is the activity of evidencing the understanding upon enlightenment. So once we proclaim that we are enlightened, that will be like the through the education only. It will be evidence through this education. Without understanding, enlightenment of evidence, there is no education. So here we are saying, without enlightenment of evidence, there is no education. Education that just pertains basically for your material needs is not education. It is just skill at most, right? The responsibility for imparting understanding lies with the educational institutions and all parents and guardians. Every family is intrinsically linked with education. Hence, contemplating the unification, privatization, or nationalization of education institutions has not proven beneficial in the past, nor will it be in the future. The parents and guardians should be directly recognized as educational institutions. Okay. So when we say institutions, it's not exactly a building, but we are talking about the parents and the guardians, right? Yes, Nilabhavi.
Yeah, namaste. I was since so many years I'm hearing. I mean, I've been reading Madhyas Darshan books, but today I thought let's see the paribhasha of siksha, that is education, and it says शिष्टता की दृष्टि को डेवलप करना is शिक्षा,
Mm,
means शिष्ट मूल्यों को, so that is values, तो
right.
वो education है. तो I have never seen the paribhasha, but today I just thought बाबा जी के
Yeah.
हिसाब से शिक्षा क्या है, तो वो कहते हैं शिष्टता मूल्यों का निर्वाह, उसकी
Mm.
दृष्टि को डेवलप करना इज एजुकेशन. So just wanted to add to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is again, we have had very nice scholars. Rabindranath Tagore also had a good definition of education, and that actually was almost into the lines of Babaji, what you have just mentioned. That why don't we just pull it out from the internet? Let's see what he says. Education and Rabin. not having the spellings right. But let's see what he says. I had learned of it a very long time ago. I mean, of course, I might be wrong here because sometimes what happens with the internet is that um, there are a lot of quotes given in the name of somebody, and that is actually not true. So let's hope that this is not a fake quote with balance or to that accord. Let's just I got it here. So the highest
यही आपका
education
आवाज
is
कट
that
हो
which
रहा है
does
कि
not.
आई एम हैविंग नेटवर्क इशू आई जस्ट
Ah,
वांटेड टू चेक
I think I have a bad connection because I'm using the mobile today. So I hope I'm audible right now.
यस
Yeah.
नाउ क्लियर यस
So the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. So yes, I just remembered this, and we can see that the word existence is there, or the word harmony is there, and it is nullifying that this just not information. So there we have it. So some people almost found it, but then see the thing is that even if they're in line with the true definition of education, that still does not uh, give because the framework or the map was not defined, right? So even if this was there for a long time, the definition does not qualify the mapping or the framework to be the problem. Maybe you have the solutions for that time, but then still it couldn't be implemented because the definitions of what is existence as such, I mean the four orders, what is harmony within them, what is coexistence, it was not discussed. So I mean, let's not combine the two definitions, but I'm just remembering that yes, he had sort of a way of looking at it, sort of in a way it was similar to what Babaji was saying. Okay, so I'll just continue. This approach alone will prove beneficial for humankind as it aligns with the principles of understanding. So, as it aligns with the principles of understanding, we must become proficient at dispensing justice. The capacity of dispensing justice will need to become evident in us. Only when we acquire these two qualities, justice, only and only then can we claim to have understood. Without understanding, how can we do justice? Right? So justice is given a lot of reference and I mean sorry reverence here. So importance here. So how can we know what is justice if we have not understood, right? When even the judges in the highest courts lack understanding of justice, what hope is there for ordinary people? Justice is the minimum requirement for human being. The evidence of justice is in the form of humane conduct. Anything short of humane conduct has no justice at all. More than that, it is not even needed. So, um, we can say that based on evidence and based on the crime, what is happening today in the courts is just a sort of an algorithm at most. Okay, you have done this much bad, so that is the crime. I mean, that is the punishment. You have done this much, so that is the punishment. And what Babaji is saying here, that is not the right way of dispensing justice. And there is a story of how actually I don't know if it's will take 2 minutes, but I think it's going to be entertaining at least. Uh, so there was this two people who had a farmland, and I believe they were relatives all together. And then there was a line of trees that were growing in the fence, right? So the trees were big, and they were casting some shadow on one of the plots, right? So the owner of the first plot had planted them, but he planted them on the edge, literally on the edge of the fence, or rather, the fence was not there, but just at the edge of the plot. And so the second brother cut the trees, and the first brother took him. Let's say he was the both of them are brothers. The first brother took the case to the courts. So like now the courts were fighting, the lawyers were fighting, and the one of the lawyers had a brilliant idea. He said that my client, which is the second person, he had cut the trees thinking that those are his trees because they were on the fence. He can also proclaim that, right? So I mean, they were planted by the first person, but the second person had cut them down, believing that those trees were for the. I mean, I mean, it was on his plot somewhat because it's half. And how do you definition of what is half on the borderline? So he had cut the trees, thinking that they were his trees. So what's wrong with that? And the judgment was passed. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. So the first person lost the case. So I'm just the point is that even the lawyers are so sharp and so smart these days that the first person to see the fruits of what he has planted, and the second person sort of won the case because his lawyer was just a little bit sharp for the justice to do or for the judge for the courts to do any sort of uh, I mean, the second lawyer just outsmarted the law system. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So this is the extent at what the justice system of today is. No two people can be happy at in this, and yeah, it keeps on going like this. Some of the cases are also pending, but they, even if they are solved, this is how they are solved. One gets share of the burden, and the other one also is not feeling that they got the justice. So this is how it is right now. The evidence is of justice in the form of humane conduct. Anything short of humane conduct has no justice at all. So, I mean, in the example I just give, it's a very simple and very casual sort of way of looking at any problem. That here there are two people proclaiming that the first person was had planted the trees, and the second person cut them down. So the first person took it to court, and it was argued, and the second person was innocent in it. So yeah, that is not justice. Basically, this is what is highlighted here. More than that, it is not even needed. Jeevan has six activities functioning with contemplation, chintan, we have become we have been able to produce a lot of things related to our common and special aspirations. Apart from these, we have also produced things such as bombs, missiles, and warships, which are not useful for humans. These things are meaningless and are cases of destruction. It can be understood by the logic of this in the history. Again, whoever in the defense system says that we are needing the bombs, we are needing the army, we are needing all these things, are categorically classified as misunderstood people. Can you imagine all the generals and all those people listening to this kind of dialogue? These things are meaningless. I hope we cannot be sure of this, but I hope someday someone reads this and they are in a position of power and they understand this heartfully. What Babaji is trying to say here is that all humans are equal, and that we need to see this as such, right? It can be understood by logic and also by seeing the events in the history. No matter what sort of armament we have, is just against human beings, right? So that is no logic in that. No logic in using all those armaments, right? Mm, we'll
Do you
just
want
read.
me to read, Bhaiya?
Yeah, I seem to
Yes.
have some trouble in my throat. So, yeah, humans, you can start from here. We'll just read one more paragraph and then we can have a small discussion. I think that would be better. Maybe this paragraph till knowledge we can
Yeah.
discuss because it's already we have, or maybe we can finish this page till self reliant. Yes, yes, Didi.
Humans engage with realities existentially, logically, and behaviorally. We want to become happy existentially. As we become happy existentially, we evidence this existential realization in our behavior only through logic. Logic is the basis with which we do uh, Logic is the basis with which we do everything like reading, writing, and talking. Meaningful logic touches existentiality, which is the magnificence of communication. My communication is meaningful if existentiality becomes indicated through it to another person. Meaningfulness of behavior is in instilling the understanding in other that the human purpose is resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. This is how realization in behavioral knowledge takes place. This is also the way existential knowledge takes place in another person. Therefore, Therefore, logic is needed both for existential knowledge and behavioral knowledge. Uh, should I read further? Hello.
I think we can stop for 1 minute so that it's clarified. Mm, what we are seeing here is that logically and behaviorally, we have to engage in realities existentially, right? We want to become happy existentially. As we become happy existentially, we evidence this existential realization in our behavior only through logic. Okay. So this sentence itself is saying that happiness is linked with understanding existentiality, right? We evidence this existential realization in our behavior through logic. Logic is the basis which we do everything like reading, writing, and talking. Meaningful logic touches existentiality, which is magnificence in communication. So I think what this paragraph pertains to is that once we are knowledgeable, then it will be evidence in our reading, in our I mean in our writing and in our talking, in our actions, right? And that is the true beauty of this darshan, that the more we have clarity of the knowledge, the more in line we come with the orderliness, right? And that is again, that is how this is communicated actually, right? So this is also the point that we are, I mean, as I said, that right now I'm thinking of how when the rains come, how a pond is necessary there to collect the water. So this is what I'm trying to say. It's as simple as that. We see and we are in line with all the existences, plans and cyclicities. So we are also in line with what we need to do. Based on that, we can also forsake priyahit labh and focus on what is nyaya. Nyaya for the farmland would be that there should be water in the farmland itself. We did not go hundreds and hundreds of meters down there and literally sort of drain the aquifers and just on the top of the land, right? So again, behavior knowledge, those are the words that are coming here. Our behavior becomes in line with knowledge, right? है ना? Buddy, I think we got the gist of it. You know. Yes, yes, Bobby. Oops.
Sorry,
I
Priya, I have a
think.
patient and I have to make medicine. So can someone else
Okay.
read it? Thank you.
Uh, Ganesh Bhaiya, will you be able to help? Or I can read even. Is okay.
I can read.
Uh, okay, Shivangi, you
Okay.
can continue.
Oh,
Huh.
just a second. The first accomplishment of this knowledge is we having the basis of our own evaluation and evaluation of our family members. The evaluation will be on the basis of values, relationship, and evidence of mutual satisfaction. We can evidence being judicious in our behavior. It is only then that a human becomes human. Thereafter, one becomes autonomous based on understanding and attains the following six merits: self-confidence, respect for excellence, balance in talent, balance in personality, social in behavior, and self-reliant in occupation.
Yeah, I think these are again straightforward. I'm just reminded of one event that what happens with our family members is part of the problem. I'm talking about the problem first because that's what is the current situation everywhere. Is that we overvalue or undervalue our family members way of I mean relating with them. So that is part of the solution is that sahi mulyankan or rather the right valuation should be done based on that. Then the values are then like what's the right word, executed, or the values also then get uh, recognize or enrich that relationship based on the right evaluation of the relationship. So what is the problem in today's day and age there is that we are somewhere undervaluing some relationships in our lives, or we are overvaluing it, so we're having over expectations and then that they don't fulfill, and then that's the source of uh, the dispute, or rather the miscommunication, or rather the distrust even for that matter, right? So I think when Babaji is saying here family is the the right place of it to start, is that because we cannot look at solutions, and we cannot give solutions when our own family is at the brink of collapse, or at the brink of uh, anger or vices of disconnection. So this is how, and how beautiful it is that we should start from our core, which is our own family. So yeah, we can just continue one more paragraph. And we'll go in 5 minutes, so maybe we can just continue one more paragraph. Yes, Didi. Can you read, Didi? Okay, she, I think she might be caught up in some work. So I'll just
No, no, sorry, sorry,
read.
sorry. I can read. I can read. I've actually had a message from school. Okay. It is upon
Okay.
attaining these six merits that I felt to have attained autonomy. Hence, I became capable of evidencing my understanding and prosperity in the family. I am presenting it before you with this truthfulness. Every person must be wanting to become civilized. While the minimum qualification for civility is justice, justice as I see it is relationships, values, evaluation, and mutual understanding, mutual satisfaction. After this, I also understood that every human seeks justice from the moment of their birth. They naturally want to work and behave correctly. They, they naturally speak the truth. On this basis, what should be the content of education? Every human child should be enlightened. They should get practice to do correct work and behavior. And the capability of delivering justice should be instilled in them. All of these three aspects need to be there in an educational institution, which will pave the way for humane tradition on its own. Human tradition will not happen without this. Human tradition has to start with justice. The core of justice is in understanding that our relationship with natural surroundings is timeless and our relationship with other humans is continuous. When someone makes a mistake, then where do we go for guidance? First, someone from their family who lives with justice gives guidance. It's not from family, then someone in the village. If not from family, then someone in the village gives guidance. If there is nobody to guide in the village also, then they will try looking for someone in their country or the whole earth. It is a natural human tendency. Every human has a natural tendency for reforming themselves somewhere or the other.
हम्म, बहुत बढ़िया इसमें आई थिंक this fact that every human child should be enlightened, this itself is a very profound I mean, Babaji is almost requesting this, that this should be the minimum, right? Every human child should be enlightened. They should get practice to do the correct work and behavior. So we are talking about guidance. We are talking about education. We are talking about a play, not a playground as such, but a play, not even a play, but a play to a place to practice what they have learned. um, I was just in the Visnagar, and the school that I had that is going to be built there, and I was just seeing what kind of activity Mahindra Bhaiya and all they were doing. So I just got the this picture in my mind because I had interacted a little bit with the kids there and seen what they do and what kind of work they do and the type of projects they have going on with the nature and with their, I mean, the connections that I have, the behavioral patterns that are being guided to them, instilled into them. So this sentence just came up in the mind, and I just visualized it again that they are having this sort of a place to practice what they are learning, right? So this is what is he saying here, that the correct work and behavior, they should have a place to practice that. And otherwise, what happens is that they will just be the mobile phone is there, right? The ill which is that of the society is already there to fill up the minds of these young kindred souls. And if we don't give them a place to practice what we are teaching them, then they will be not far from just become copies of what human tradition is to start with justice. Again, a very profound, repeating here, but still important. Has to start with justice. The core of justice understanding that our relationship with natural surrounding is timeless and our relationship with the humans is continuous. Uh, so this is what is core of justice. But yeah, so yeah, I mean this is quite straightforward. We have now 10 minutes. Shall we read or shall we discuss? I think maybe we can discuss now. There's no point of hurrying ahead. Um, the proposal, just the education is the proposal should be. Maybe just I'll read one more sentence here because it's related to above paragraph. It has become evident that the world wants a change, but what change they want was not clear so far. This proposal addresses it and will result in dissemination of this proposal. There should be provision for humane education in the educational institutions. So again, a very strict and straightforward paragraph here, that to date it was not clear. Now it is through this proposal, and education alone will result into the dissemination of this proposal. बढ़िया. So I'll just stop sharing here. Mm, Maybe we can just summarize, and if anybody else wants to have their say or their 2 cents on this today's discussion, then I'll maybe say something in the end. Who is going to go first? Shall I go first? Okay, so in today's reading, I realized one thing, that what is the definition of education? We got it clarified here, and this, as such, it's not an institution. It's about guardians, and these guardians and parents are the ones who are the educational institutions, right? So that means those two entities are the ones who are going to take this knowledge ahead, right? So that means they have to be knowledgeable first. That's how it starts, right? And then from there on, we understood that this problem that we see in our surrounding is because we were not given, or we didn't have a proposal that was all encompassing and all covering all of existence. And that is one of the reasons why we have such an issue that we have today. And this again is the reason that we have all sort of like suffered the issues and that we are facing right now, to the extent that uh, the family structure also might be at a problem state because of over evaluation or under evaluating each other. So it starts with knowledge, and then that knowledge be implemented in the family structure. That's what I understood uh, in today's reading. And yeah, I think the word humane was repeated again and again. And what we think of justice as delivered by the current court system is not justice, it's just a judgment. There is a big difference in that, because the judgment is pertaining to one's victory, whereas justice is about both, or rather all parties winning. So that is what I have understood in today's reading. Yes, anybody else wants to go? We still have time.
Yes, Priya.
Uh,
Yes. And it's very well explained in today's session that basically you see that what is happening is uh, the the drishti of priya hit labh, pleasure, health, and profit.
mm,
As soon as we change it to justice, dharma, and truth, then there
mm,
is a change. That is what Babaji is saying again and again.
mm,
And then the chintan start.
mm,
So that these are the very important aspects, and these are to be done. And Babaji has said that neither the state nor the education is able to do that. But
mm,
and the people who do something wrong and we blame that they have done wrong, the question is we have not made them to understand each and everything. We have not delivered the right education.
exactly.
So once we start delivering the right education, the people will understand the importance of the coexistence, how to help each other,
Mm,
how to have the understanding, right understanding for the
mm,
mutual relationship as well as the prosperity of this earth. So these are the very, very important aspect which have been emphasized today in today's session and reading. So what I have learned in between, I got a telephone call, so I missed one or two sentences. So yes, it was
okay.
for me. This was a very, very important aspect again repeated by Babaji.
Exactly. Exactly. He is completely contemplating that this will go ahead with the education, and this is how it's going to go ahead, is that through the guardians and through the parents. And so sometimes this linking is very necessary in our heads. We tend to think of institutions as the buildings or the structure. It's not as such. And for that, that means the parents of the guardians, which actually in the initial internally means us only. It's nothing more than that. So that it will be taken forward, or rather taken through to the kids or to the guardians, the parents, and that becomes us, and that becomes that we have to be knowledgeable, right? So we again are at the, and there was this one sentence where Babaji was saying that I was trying to look for the solution by making others do something, but then he suddenly realized that when he looked at his own life and his own family, then it started to make sense to him, and that's how he also attained the, if I'm not mistaken, the right word he used was happiness at that point, right? So yeah, I don't want to be misquoting, but let me see. uh, might have highlighted it, but yeah, basically the point of the thing is that here it is: you too will bear witness in the same manner once you grasp the immense happiness and satisfaction that comes from living in accordance with justice. So here he's saying the word of immense happiness against, not implying it onto others, but becoming knowledgeable yourself, right? So that is the, yeah. Maybe
So I
anybody else?
find this journey to be in few words, like changing the kind of perception we are having for create lab to Nyaya Dharma Satya. So this is a very, very important aspect, always repeated again and again. But this is the thing which everyone has to do. Once we start living according to that, that is the living with the coexistence, or living in the coexistence. And that is the
Exactly.
truth. That is everything. So
Right.
yes, Bhaiya.
बहुत बढ़िया.
Hmm.
And I think we just have one more minute, but still, I think that if we come to it, it's quite straightforward. One thing, it's quite time efficient in the sense that as we are coming towards this knowledge, or towards enlightenment, we are seeing that more and more we see alignment. And by alignment, I mean we are in alignment with the whole of existence, and then in such an order, we are seeing that somehow we also become resolved. And not only that, we are seeing that our actions also need not be so hyperactive. I mean, we need to change this, we need to change that. No, we just need to change our own mindset, get rid the, I mean, it will read itself the wrongdoings, they will read it themselves, the wrong notions rather, they will read themselves once we fill up the cup with the right stuff. So again, I'm revising this sentence where we are saying that dirty waters cannot be washed, but for the sake of I mean, understanding, water is made of atoms and it is a padarth, but here we are talking about human beings. So dirty waters cannot be washed, right? But dirty minds or dirty consciousness can be washed, definitely. That's the ending, I would say. है ना? बहुत बढ़िया डिस्कशन आज का रहा. We hope to meet again tomorrow again at the same time. है ना? चलो. Every have a good night. Thank you. Namaste.
Good